Hello and welcome to another episode of the Embodied Life Coaching Podcast. This week we are diving into the juicy topic of people pleasing. It's not going to be a long one, but it is going to be potent, so pay attention. So people pleasing, like what is it? How does it arise? What can we do about it? So I think of people pleasing as that inability to say no. We're constantly doing things for other people, but often it's at the expense of ourselves. And so how does this come about? We learn to people please in response to learning at some point, directly or indirectly, that disappointing or upsetting another person or group of people or people generally is bad, right? And so it's not necessarily that someone sits you down and is like, if you don't please me, this is bad. Often it's just that indirect thing of, when I don't behave in a certain way, this person gets upset. That has negative consequences for me, right? And because when we are little, our nervous systems aren't developed and we haven't got the same cognitive understanding that we have as adults, our body actually sees that as a threat to its survival, right? And it adapts accordingly. So we have these survival patterns in our system that means that we can find it difficult or actually virtually impossible to say no to things. Why is this a problem? Right? Maybe isn't it not nice to do things to people that is good, right? And the reason why it's a problem is that we abandon ourselves and our needs in the process in order to meet the needs of others, right? And because we do this repeatedly over time, what can happen is that we basically lose the connection to our own needs. We don't know what our needs are. And we maybe don't know who we are because we spend so much of our time giving to others, okay? And the challenge with this is that it leads to resentment. All of a sudden you realize that everything you are doing is for somebody else. You aren't doing anything for yourself, but actually you can't bring yourself to do things for yourself because first of all, you don't know what that looks like, but also there's this deep-seated underlying belief that that's wrong, it's selfish, it's bad, okay? And so the negative implications of this are many, but a huge one is time. You may feel like you have no time for yourself because you are literally spending all of your time giving to other people. And so whether it's that you work extra at work or you find yourself doing stuff with the kids at school or you're always helping out friends and family members, so often the negative knock-on of people pleasing, of that inability to say no, is that you constantly feel rushed and frazzled and have no time for yourself. Which is then where we get the knock-on things of stress, of exhaustion, of burnout. And so, like, none of this feels particularly good, right? It's like, okay, so I can't say no. I don't know what my needs are. I have been abandoning myself. Thanks, Louise. Now I feel like shit. Like, what can I do about it? Okay. And so what we want to do is actually build the capacity in your system so that your body no longer feels like it's a threat to your survival to say no, where you can put your needs first and you know what your needs are, so that actually you are able to say no to things, you are able to push back, and it might feel uncomfortable, but like it's actually available. So you have more time to spend on the things that really matter to you. And there's a few ways that we go about this, right? We look at boundaries. What are the ways that we are going to behave with other people? What are the ways that we are going to allow other people to behave towards us? And boundaries are a great thing to do in practice. But again, when we have these survival patterns in our system, it can be easier said than done to put them in place. And so your job just for now is just to notice. If I think about how I want to behave, what I want to say no to, and how I want other people to behave around me, is it currently available to me to put those things in place? And if the answer is no, you don't need to make it a problem. It's just an indication that there is some work to do on your nervous system patterning so that you create the capacity to be able to push back and say no. And another really key part of this is learning to identify and express your needs, right? And I want to give you a takeaway that you can use for this. So often we're so detached from ourselves and our needs, either because we've learned that they don't matter, and so there's no point in having them, or we learned that they weren't going to be met, and actually the pain of not having your needs met was so great, it was easier not to have any needs at all, okay? So we just want to start to build in this inquiry within ourselves of what we need. And a really great place to start with this is the really simple things in your day. Do I need a drink? Do I need something to eat? Do I need to go to the bathroom? Do I need to rest? And even that, it might take a little bit of time to really connect into it, but you might want to stick a reminder in your phone a couple of times a day. What do I need? And just start asking yourself that question, because over time you will build that muscle back up and you will start to be able to get that dialogue with yourself again. So that's just a really useful way that you can start to build up this practice. And then from there, we want to build that safety in the body so that it doesn't feel like such an existential threat to our survival that an action that we take might disappoint or upset another person. Because all of the time that we are terrified of what other people will think, we will people please, we will abandon ourselves, and you miss out on the richness of how your life could be if you actually were able to live it on your terms and to know what that even looks like. So a little bit of a whistle-stop tour today. I hope it's given you some things to think about. I would love for you to let me know. People pleasing is one of the patterns that we really deep dive into inside my Address and Unlock program. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that program in the coming episodes, because we are enrolling for a brand new group at the end of June 2023, depending on when you're watching this. And we really, really deep dive into this topic, how we support it and how we support those patterns on a physiological level so that we can have access to our health, we can have access to putting in place boundaries. And so if this is something that you are interested in, for now, I just invite you to join the waitlist for the program. What I will be doing over the coming weeks is sharing some free resources with that waitlist group only, which will just give you some more tools and things that you can use. And then obviously at any point, if it feels good to you to join the program or you want to speak about the program with me, we can take that next step. But for now, check out the link in the show notes, and if the program appeals, join the waitlist, you will get the resources, and then we can go from there. Okay, have an amazing week, and don't forget to keep asking yourself, what do I need? All right, take care. Bye.